Okay, so after we have all of our our black value and all of our grays done, we've got a few things we could do. Number one, we could touch up some of the stuff we have here. So for the most part, I think Jimmy looks pretty good. All of the parts that had grays in it were filled in. So I want to give you the option though, if you want to go back in and add a little bit of slivers of detail, or you think you may have missed a spot, totally normal. In my case, I think I want to put a little bit more dimension in the nostril area where he had a little bit of darker shadow there, and maybe even a little bit more around the eyes. So I'm just going to show you how to go back in and add a little bit more detail to make different parts stand out a little bit more. Okay. So I think I forgot some of this eyebrow here. So what you could do today is click on your Jimmy layer and select an area that you think perhaps you forgot, and use your eyedropper. And you just have to use your best judgment at this point to figure out what color it is. I believe that's dark gray. And you could go back into any areas and add something you may have missed or you feel like you could do more of to help make things stand out a little bit more. I think I'm going to go into the nostril too. Let's bring that back. And if I have little slivers of area like this, it's hard to select, but if I can get a little sliver of these parts here and make it a little bit darker, which I think is a dark gray too, I'm going to go in and perhaps if it's small enough, I can make it solid like that. Okay. So at least if you need to add a little bit more detail around the facial features to make it stand out, feel free to go back in and do that today. You may have to do a lot. You may have to do nothing. It depends on what you need. Okay. So that's goal number 1 for today. Goal number 2, this part is totally optional. You could keep your project like this, strictly grayscale, or you could go and you could add a color background to your project. It's up to you. It depends on the design. It depends on what you like. You could also do this and decide you don't like it and just get rid of it. So that part's up to you. So let's say you can see some of the examples up there. When we're picking a color for a background, what type of color do you think would work well against a black and gray image? A bright one. Excellent. Why do you think a bright is a good idea? It stands out more, exactly. So it's going to stand out against the black and the grays. So I'm going to make a layer right underneath Jimmy Fallon and drag it underneath. And I'm going to paint it one big color. So the one thing we need to do, we're in strictly gray land right now. So I'm going to go to Image, Mode, and change it to RGB color and just hit Don't Merge. That's the key. So that's going to allow me to go to my little color picker here and pick a different color. So I'm going to go with that royal blue because I think that one worked out pretty well. I'll make it a little more aqua. So something like that that's going to be brighter. And I'm going to apply it here behind Jimmy. And I want to make sure I can still see the black, white, and gray and all that other stuff, which is cool. Now, all the areas, now I need to work on the white areas. So if you're keeping it grayscale, you don't have to do the white because you'll never see it. But if you want to add a background color, then we have to fill in the white areas. And that means I'll go back to my Jimmy layer and I'm going to click with my magic wand on the areas that are white. I'll just select a few for now, just for the sake of the demo. Of course, you would sit here and take more time selecting them. Okay. We'll hide Jimmy, and we're going to add another layer like we have been doing before. And we're going to name it white. A little easier to pick white from your color picker now, because it's just the one all the way in the corner. And then you'll use your different words here and fill in the spaces with different pieces of text. Like I said before, you don't have to do this if you want to keep it strictly grayscale. But if you get extra points. No, it's just it depends on your design and what you want. Yeah. It's just if you want it. If you don't want it, don't do it. Totally fine. Okay. So you could go in, I'll just fill in his forehead so you could see it here. Yep. No, it's going to be due on Monday now because I wasn't with you. And also some people may want to work on this. Uh-huh. Yeah, this is the last step of it basically before we go in and we do our project outline. So, or our project reflection, sorry. So basically you would just sit here and fill in all of your spaces. And that's about it. Okay, before I wrap this up, do we have any questions about applying white and an optional color? Okay, guys, that's all you need to get done then. Phew. Thank you.